first hit is you smoke it to see how you're gonna feel, see if you're gonna have any allergic reactions or anything like that. Yeah.
What's it called? Frog.
It's called the Sonoran desert toad.
And it just you.
Yeah, so what it is, it's like natural habitat is the Sonoran Desert in Mexico. And basically what hunters do is they go and find the toads. They don't kill the toads, but they grab the toads and they milk the toad of its venom. And they squeeze out the venom.
They milk it? How do they milk it?
So when the Sonoran Desert toad gets scared, for its survival, it sheds off a venom, and so it squeezes off from their pores. So what they do is they catch this toad. The toad freaks out and secretes this venom. It's like this milky-like substance that gets squeezed out onto a piece of glass, and when it dries up, they scrape it off. So they scrape off the dry venom, and then you smoke that dry venom.
Wow, what happens?
And basically you go, you smoke it, and within, I'd say, time is really irrelevant.
A day?
No. I'm saying you smoke it and time is really irrelevant, but what happens is pretty much I just call it like ego death.
Right.
If it's anything I ever thought I was as a human being, or as like who me, DD as a person was, gets pretty much evaporated. It's like you die, you see yourself dying. And like that's a situation that happened to me, and it was a very rebirth type situation, and I came out of the experience crying. I came out of the experience with like a meaning of what I've gone through in my life all kind of makes sense in that moment of
So
time.
like how long did this take? I know you're saying time is irrelevant, but how long did it take to like...
So the experience lasts about 30 minutes. I did it with a shaman, and it seems like you could be out for days, but it only lasts for 30 minutes. But that 30 minutes of time is like the most, it can be, it's like what's your intention behind it. Like some people have done the toad and are scarred for life. It ruins them for life.
But the high actually lasts for 30 minutes.
30 minutes. The high lasts for 30 minutes, but the ongoing effects for me have lasted, it's been, 2 months now.
Since you did it.
Yeah, because it's like, so much happens with your sensory overload in this 30 minutes.
It feels like...
For you to process what happened to you it takes a very long time.
So it felt, that 30 minutes felt like...
That was good. Could have been forever.
Wow.
How can you measure time? This is what I tell people. It's like, how can you measure time when you don't have like eyes, you don't have ears, you don't hear, there's no sensory overload. Your whole body gets exploded to its core being. So past the ego, past thought, past ego, deep to your karma. So what are you? At the core. Because from your core then becomes your thought, and that's when your ego. But when you explode all that, you're at this core of irrelevance.
So like
existence.
A minute is like 1, 2.
Could be a minute.
3.
A minute could be 1.
Are you talking to people?
No. Many people have experienced different realms.
Are you, when you did it, were you with other people?
So when I did it, I was with a shaman by myself in a cabin, and the second you smoke this, there's no vision. You're out. You're laying flat on your back with your eyes closed right away.
You're not like able to
right
walk.
away.
You can't
There's
walk.
no walking.
Oh.
You don't have. There's no walking. There's no legs. You have no legs. So
Wow.
it's like what I can explain it is like you experience death.
And remember, this is a defense mechanism for the frog. So when other little animals
come
like,
to take the frog,
they start tripping.
and instead of killing their predators, they make their predators have a hallucinogenic experience.
Wow. And then maybe they don't want to kill the frog.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. They don't want to kill. They don't even have that hate in their heart.
Wow.
It's real possible, but I did this toad based on like spiritual awakening and like finding different ways to like see a different spiritual perspective in my life, to always grow and always see things. And something that's been really strong with me is like trying to control an outcome, being very controlling and like very expectant in a result. And like what's the most beautiful thing I could do is do something of this nature that explodes all expectations. You are feeling and seeing and experiencing something that is so far past your little human mental mind, and that for this to even work, you must completely relinquish, completely have all humility, completely release to fucking God for this to even work. Because you take 3 hits. The first hit, you smoke it to like see if your body's gonna have an allergic reaction. The second hit is like lasts for 2 minutes to see how you're gonna go.
We're talking to them.
How you're gonna? Oh, so first hit is you smoke it to see how you're gonna feel, see if you're gonna have any allergic reactions or anything like that. The second hit lasts for about 2 minutes, and in that 2 minutes, you kind of experience a little inkling of what this is gonna be like. My second hit was like torture for me.
Really?
It was torture because I was trying to control the outcome. I was trying to smoke it and okay, what's the message here? What's going on here? And then like I would like fall out into this realm, but like wake up and like see the shaman in the corner, and like was this struggle. And I remember between the second and the third hit was the whole experience for me. It was like this meaning of looking at the shaman, looking at him, and having complete trust and complete relinquish all controlling factors. And it's to the point I looked at him, he's like, if I'm gonna die right now, am I okay with it? And I made a conscious decision that I was okay with it. And to have that complete freeing experience is what made the 5-MeO trip so beautiful.
And you took another hit.
Yeah, the third hit's the real hit.
And then you just
I was pure freedom. But I already made the mental thought pattern of relinquish all stress, relinquish all controlling, relinquish all expectations. So when this happened to me, no matter how crazy it was happening, no matter what type of visual experience I was feeling, I was going to have a complete freeing experience.
You were accepting it.
That was it. And it was like that in that moment is when I saw God. You know what I mean? It's that in that moment is when you experience, And there was no vision because you don't have eyes. So it's all very spiritual, like core sensory feeling.
One thing that we say in AA is you have to die to self. Which means like dying to self is like completely
ego death.
Yeah, like not like another thing we say is half measures avail us nothing. So like to kind of have humility and to like kind of like that doesn't do shit. It's like if you like the second hit is like you.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of surrendered, but like you're not.
It's like it was this moment in my life. It's like I don't care how, I don't care what you can tell yourself. I don't care what you can tell other people, that you are humble, that you have humility, and like you could say all this stuff, but like you could never lie to yourself And in that moment, I was like, dude, I'm controlling so much. I control everything in my life. Yeah, I'm trying to control every outcome or anything, and trying to control positivity. Like, trying to control these things instead of just live and let be and accept with love. And like, that was like the complete fucking mirror of something that like I didn't want to accept until that moment.
Yeah. It's weird, the parallels that I can draw, you know, like to AA.
Yeah.
And just to this certain way of life. Like like as you're talking about this type of shit, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, like this is, you know, that drug or whatever you want to call it helps you get there to a place that like I've been trying to get to for this whole time. And I think that you have to keep every day, it's like you have to remember to let go and to trust and to have faith and to like be humble and like I was saying in that share, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we don't really like
I don't know anything.
We don't know.
And like that's the biggest lesson. Like I learned and like, and I've been like, as you know, like I've been every day like just on this spiritual like awakening and trying to get better as a person and like really dive into myself and kind of experience like who the fuck am I in my 30s, like who am I? Like I have the rest of my life to live and kind of soul search, and that's why I'm trying different things and different spiritual practice and stuff like that. But I don't know shit. And like the fact that I could like sit and say I don't know anything is like the most freeing most free I've ever been in my life. Because like living my whole 34 years of like trying to say I know something all the time, everywhere I go, and like trying to reinstate my value has just left me tired.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's just like really cool. It's what's really cool to me is that like you're on this path over here with like hallucinogenics and like smoking weed and just, but like, you know, working out, eating healthy, working on music, everything in your life. And I'm like over here like doing my like video production company and AA and like, but like the goal, like it's the same. It's the same. We're in the same place as far as like, you know, I always quote that Operation Ivy song, like, all I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing. It's such a simple way of saying like wisdom is like in not knowing and being open to like new things every day. Even like something I thought I knew yesterday could be different today.
That's it. The whole thing is like always trying to say that I knew completely closed me out of any opportunity. Every thought of education, every thought of relearning something, it deletes everything. Because like I just live life of like I know the way it is and like that's the way it is. But to like completely relinquish and like just wake up and like do my prayers and like, okay, like what's today gonna be, and like I'm good with it. So whatever that's gonna be. So
ego is like
the death of a man.
But like self is like self-will, like to control. Ego and self are things that we talk about a lot in AA. And to die to self is like a thing that my sponsor says a lot, like, cause he's having trouble with his wife, and it's like, dude, you don't know what the plan. Like what I said in my share was like, I love my life, but it's not the life I would have mapped out for myself when I first got sober. When I first got sober, I was like, this is what I want: success, music, #1 iTunes, and then now it's like this different thing, and it's like better. Because I didn't, but that's just like a way of explaining how, one example of like how you don't know. And if you can like allow like the universe to sort of like map out your shit without resisting it all the time, like it's so much better. But feeling what you felt definitely helps you to understand how little you know, because you're feeling this intense, like exploding. The way you're describing
Well, it's just like I felt like this is crazy. I felt like someone stuck a dynamite of love inside my body and exploded it. And like my molecule to break down my physical self into energy, which you can't see with the human eye, but to feel that we are just energy, and that's included in the world, in nature, and everything like that. Like when we die, dude, like, so this is body. Like your soul goes on and on and on and on and on.
But like the words that you're using to describe this are so limited.
Yeah, it's impossible.
That's why
I can't, like, it's impossible for me to describe and remind you to remember distinctly what it's like a dream. Like you experience this thing, and that's why it's like there's a lot of people that like they keep wanting to experience it, and they keep going and keep going and keep going. But I read this, like, one of my the warrior tarot cards, and it was like this lesson of like experience and then process. Don't just keep trying to experience more and more and more without processing, because the process is part of the experience. Like I've been on this thing of like trying to like always kind of be on an adventure and be open and learn new lessons and things like that, but like if we never take a time to reflect, we never can understand what we've learned.
So you're still learning shit
every day.
So what has the past 2 months been like for you, waking up and like are you like,
so the last 2 months
when you smoke weed it kicks back in, or?
Yeah, so basically after the last 2 months, like my shaman said, like you're gonna have a very, very, like, that's CBD right there. I can't even smoke THC at the moment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, so the whole process of it is you smoke it, but the toad has a chemical interaction with sativa and THC in general. And some people, when they do the toad and you smoke weed, it now marijuana becomes very psychedelic. A very psychedelic experience. And I kind of laughed at it until I took one hit of weed, and I was 4 hours flat-backed on my couch in the same exact psychedelic realm that I was in, but without the ego death. So I was in a realm knowing I was completely paralyzed. I couldn't move my body in this psychedelic realm. And it's very weird how now every time I smoke THC or something like that, it has a scientific experience, and I go into the same place. But now, instead of being scared when that happens, it's more of like a opening and a little reminder of like what I've learned in that process. And I think that's really important. Instead of chasing the realm, is what we call it, like chasing in there, like what am I learning as a human being by experiencing that experience.
So did you enjoy it?
It was the best experience of my life.
So you kind of do want to go do it again?
I would say, where am I in my life? Like, how do I feel in my life? Like right now I'm good.
But I'm saying, like, if you loved it so much,
it's not just because you love something doesn't mean you have to keep chasing it and chasing it and chasing it and doing it. I think all type of natural medicines, whether it's ayahuasca, whether it's peyote, whether it's senoran desert toad, I think they all have amazing use. What's your intention behind it? Well, if you don't go into intention and you're just smoking something or doing something to get away from reality, that all for you, but that's not why I use that medicine. I learned to learn and see myself in a different spiritual light, and then apply that to my life, and live reality in the best way I could possibly be. Because my shaman said that, he's like, you can't live your whole life in the realm like you're a human being. And that's the most beautiful blessing in the world, is that you're a chosen soul to be a human being. So now take what you've learned in your experience and now live with compassion and love, and knowing that we're very minimal in this existence of this whole thing, but how big of a blessing it is to be a human being and experience that. Don't run from that. That's like a very important lesson. Like even like the bad days or whatever, like experience that.